Hi everybody, welcome back to 30 Days Until Dawn. We have now worked through our first short story. It's a very short story. It's a particular type of story. I don't know what you call it. I've always called it a story based on setting. It's the real art of the story because you haven't been writing about yourself. You've been writing about this character. That's the true art of the short story, right? Inhabiting somebody else's life and showing how that person works through conflict. Today we're gonna work on revision of that short story, and how we're gonna do this. I just thought I'd give you my method, and I think my number one method, the most important thing I have, is a group of people that I go to work with every week, it's so important to me that I drive to Fresno to meet with these people, and I have the absolute respect for absolutely all of them. They're just tremendously good critics and editors. And I think if you can get something like that's really your best thing. You've got to have a good group. That's good. Of course, we have our tribe here. With 30 Days to Done, we've been talking about each other, and there are people who are posting regularly, and there are people who have been posting irregularly, and some people have just been sending to me. That's all fine, right? And so there's a little bit of a judgment. If you can find somebody who has a little bit more emotional investment in what you're doing because you're kind of going back and forth, I think that works. If you wanted to work with the people down below, I just set up a Chatsy room, and I'd work with people that way. And so if you guys want to form a small group, that would work as well. Anyway, I'm going to give you my formula that I use before I take my stuff to work. This is how I revise. I think revision is tremendously important. There's a chipmunk about to go into the room over there. Check out this chipmunk. Oh, we scared him. Where's he going? No, don't go in there. Okay. I have a vision of myself chasing chipmunks out of a room all day. Okay, so sorry about that distraction. Okay, so what are we going to do to revise? The first thing I do is I read my story out loud. It's important. I read a lot, but I'm always going to talk more than I read or write because it's easier. So most people speak about 30,000 words a day, and if you're writing a lot, you're doing 500,000 words a day, right? And so it's just, you have much more fluency with the spoken language. Get away from people. Get away from everyone, but especially people who aren't going to understand, because that'll block you so much you won't be listening to yourself anymore. So read your story out loud to yourself, and then that's my first thing. And then I'm going to take a look at each of those elements separately. I'm going to take a look at dialogue, and just take a look at my dialogue, my descriptions, see if they're doing what I want them to do my language, that kind of thing, making sure that every single thing has conflict. I'm going to look for all of the grammar things that I know that I do badly. And what sort of grammar things do I do badly? Well, I'm a child of the 80s, so I use the word just too much in a slang way. Whatever slang you have is going to come out, and you don't even recognize it as slang. I met somebody from Missouri who said that everything that's bad in Missouri is ignorant, where he comes from. So, like, my truck broke down, so that's just ignorant, right? It's like, okay, that's after a while that slang starts to get into our heads, and we don't even realize that we're doing it. And I do it all the time, right, with my California slang. So revise for those sorts of things, and then I'm going to read my story out loud again, and then I'm going to read it out loud again, and then I'm going to read it backwards out loud. I don't mean word for word, I mean sentence by sentence, because when I'm reading it out loud forwards, I'm probably going to get lost in the context, and I'm going to miss those awkward sentences and things like that. If I read it backwards, sentence by sentence out loud, then I know I'm going to capture all those things, and then I'm going to go through it again and look for all of those messy details. Probably we're talking about 6, 7, 8 run-throughs through the story. Okay, at that point I'm ready to show it to my group, and so I think of that as my first draft being done. And that's a good place to start. And if you have somebody you can send it to, that's great. I might be able to read some of these, but it's hard for me to get to a computer right now. You can tell I'm up here getting to a computer. That's why I'm only sort of semi-regularly. I'll like descend and I'll comment on all the poems for about 3 or 4 days, because I have to get to a Starbucks in order to do that. And the closest Starbucks is about an hour away, so it's like, it takes me a little bit. Okay, so that's 30 Days Until Done. That's your first short story. By the way, congratulations, you just finished a short story. I don't know if it's great, I don't know if it's terrible. It's probably great if you spent this kind of time on it. But it's done. Isn't that great? All right, I will see you tomorrow. We're going to start tomorrow working on what do you call it? We're going to start working on the second story of this collection, right? So it's going to be related. Okay, 30 days till done. I'll see you tomorrow.